Performing rolling fast is how I lost 25 pounds in 19 days. It's how I lost 50 pounds in 62 days. It's how I lost 75 pounds in 133 days. Today is day 461, and I've managed to not only lose this weight in the first 5 months, but keep it off 10 months later. No pills, no meds, no injections, no surgery, just fasting. In the first 5 months of my journey, I performed 35 fasts that averaged 93 hours. That's nearly a 4-day fast. And the kicker here is I ate whatever I wanted, no caloric or macro restrictions, eating upwards of 6,000 or 7,000 calories per refeed. That's what it took for me to get it to work. Your journey is going to be different, and that's okay. But one thing's for sure, if you're trying to drop this weight quickly, nothing is going to beat fasting. But don't dive into this swinging without having a backup plan first. I can't stress this enough. Everyone's journey is going to be different, and it's going to be okay. You might have all the motivation in the world to do a super long fast, and if that's what you have right now, go ahead and do it. If you can healthily push a long fast and be okay and live a normal life, go ahead and do it. But eventually, just like everyone else in the world, that motivation is going to wear off. And then when that does happen, what are you going to do next? If your knee-jerk reaction is to just walk away and be like, well, not worth it, it's not long enough, this isn't good enough, you're doing it wrong. You're setting yourself up for failure. You are not putting yourself in the right mindset. People always ask me, well, how did you do it at the beginning? How were you able to be so successful at the beginning? For me to really answer that question, I'm gonna have to go back and remind you of what my journey looked like before this. This isn't the first time I've lost this weight. When I dropped all the way down to 125 pounds, and I kept it off for I think about half a year before I gained it all back. And for 2+ years, I was gone from YouTube because I was so embarrassed and felt guilty about what I did, and my ego was too big to really just accept the fact that this shit happened, and I didn't want to come to terms with it. And believe me when I tell you that in those 2 years when I was gone, I was trying to get back on it. I share this story a lot, and sometimes I think people forget that it still happened to me, that I just completely walked away from this. But here we are today, where I lost the weight in record time and now have kept it off for a super long amount of time. And honestly, 10 months, 10.5 months isn't even long enough. Let's do this for another year. Let's do this for 5 years down the road where I can keep this weight off. But the difference between then and now is the accountability. People ask me how I pushed that hard back then. It was because I was accountable. It's because I did not want to let myself down, but I didn't want to let my viewers down. That was one of my biggest driving forces. But imperfect consistency, accepting the fact that I will be imperfect and then that shit will happen, that is a game changer. Knowing that I'm gonna fuck up every now and then, but I don't walk away from it, that is the key. Believe me when I say that, because think about you in your personal situation. You've tried every diet, you've gone on every eating plan, you've tried to out-exercise, you've done it all. But think about every single time you walk away from it. Instead of showing up, instead of practicing something imperfectly consistent, you walk away from it. You pick up your old habits and then you do the same shit you used to do, and then you find yourself back at square one. How do I know this? Because that's been fucking me my entire life. I'm done with it. This accountability means more to me than anything at this point. This is what keeps me healthy. This is what keeps me in the game. And you know what? With every day that passes by, I learn a little more about myself. I build that experience. I get better at what I do. I realize that this isn't all about fasting. This is about everything. This is about working every weight loss lever that you can. If you suck at fasting, get good at your eating habits. If you suck at your eating habits, work on your exercise. If you suck at your exercise, work on your sleep. Work on your refeed length, your flexibility, your strength training, your mental health. There's so many things. And instead, you're focusing on one goddamn thing and nothing else. And that's where you're making the mistake. If your 2-day, 3-day, 4-day, whatever long fast doesn't go according to plan, then what? Do not set yourself up for failure. Many of you know what this failure looks like. You'll tell yourself you're gonna do a 3-day fast, and then 22 hours later, you're like, the hell with this. And then you end up saying, well, I'm just gonna eat whatever I want, and then I'm gonna start tomorrow. I'm gonna start on Monday. I'm gonna start after the Super Bowl because, right, it's convenient. I'm gonna start after excuse X, Y, and Z. And before you know it, you fall into this vicious cycle. Here's your backup plan. I'm gonna give it to you. Real simple. If you set yourself up for a 36-hour fast and you only get through 22 hours, you refeed, and obviously the cleaner the better, and obviously the shorter the better, and then you go again, and then you go again, and then you go again. Simple backup plan. Imperfect consistency. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. If you can practice imperfect consistency, you can build experience. And when you build experience, you stop beating yourself up for failure. Because you and I both know that life is gonna throw 18 things at you at once. And not hitting something as simple as a timer and not being accountable because life happens is no longer an excuse. I'm currently 62 hours and 6 minutes fasted and will be breaking later tonight at the 65-hour mark. This will be my 15th 65-hour fast in a row. This morning I weighed in at 142 pounds even, the lowest I've clocked in since August. And after tonight's refeed, I'll be pushing another 65-hour fast. Are you in? And remember, just because you don't hit a 65-hour fast doesn't mean that you throw in the towel and walk away. Instead, you should be enacting your backup plan and going again. Refeed quick, eat clean, and fast again. You show up, you stay accountable, you stop walking away from life. Start accepting the fact that the sooner you stay imperfectly consistent, the sooner you find success on your health and wellness journey.